Greetings guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well, and I hope that you are fighting, because there is a lot to be fighting for. As usual, there'll be a link in the description to the page of my website with a bunch of petitions, donations, emails to send to MPs, etc, etc. Now, today we are going to be looking at something that has been very highly requested for a very long time, and that is Classically Abby. Now, Abby has so much content that it would take me a lifetime to go through all of it, so today I'm going to be focusing on one video that captured my attention, and it's titled "Conservatives Are the New Resistance." And I wanted to talk about this one because that is so funny to me. Conservatives are the new resistance? What are you on? Are we living in the same world? Conservatives are in power practically everywhere. Even the non-conservative parties are still quite conservative. We live in a conservative world. Really. Even the, particularly in, the States, even the liberal candidates are mostly very conservative. If you think that, Democrats aren't conservative, you're out of your mind, because for the most part, they're quite conservative. It's just liberal in comparison to you. Anyway, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. So I wanted to sit down, watch the video, and just talk about it, because my God, is there a lot to talk about. The thing with Abby and people like her is that she is so level-headed, and the way she has conversation and talks about this, she says it so well that you want to believe everything she's saying. Like, she sounds like she knows exactly what she's talking about. And unless you are educated and you hold other beliefs, I could see why people would listen to her and take on what she's saying. And this particular video is a speech she gave to, a young conservative group at a university. So they're very young, very impressionable, and wanting to learn more about conservatism and having their beliefs solidified. So this is the way she's speaking and what she's saying, I could see appealing to young conservatives. Anyway, let's watch it. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's go. Straight off the bat, she starts her video with saying, being a conservative in 2020 is not easy.
Being a young conservative is not easy in 2020.
I don't know where this idea comes from. I don't know why so many conservatives like to say this. They're like, I'm so oppressed. I can't say slurs anymore. I can't discriminate against people. It's so hard to be me. You think you have a hard time being afraid to walk down the street at night? Well, I'm afraid that someone's gonna tell me off for being discriminatory against someone. I don't believe in the LGBTQ plus lifestyle, and now I'm not allowed to say slurs towards them and attack them on the street. Life is so hard for me. How do you think it feels to be the people who are being attacked on the street? Conservatives, so many of these people have no idea what it's like to be a minority. And Abby is Jewish, right? And there's so much antisemitism that happens in the US from conservatives. So this confuses me so much. So many conservatives are openly Nazis, right? And she's out here saying it's hard to be a conservative. I just don't understand. Being told that what you're saying is offensive or harmful towards people is not the same as being abused for being who you are. And you are abusing your privilege so much in saying that it's hard to be a conservative when there are so many people who are struggling just to exist. So many people struggle to exist as their authentic selves and live their own lives because of the conservative, particularly Republican government in the US, especially under Trump. So much anti-Semitism happened under Trump. The rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes was huge under Trump, and you are going to sit here as a Jewish woman and say it's hard to be a conservative. That's the thing you're saying is hard to be. I just don't understand. The people that you are siding with are people who are actively hurting you and harming you. And I do not understand that. So many conservatives are misogynistic and anti-Semitic, and you are sitting... Just because that anti-Semitism and misogyny isn't impacting you directly doesn't mean it's not impacting so many others. You are coming from a place of wealth and status and privilege, and thus it doesn't affect you as much as it does others. And that does not mean that it isn't real.
Being conservative means fighting the published narrative.
It literally does not. That is not at all what being conservative means. Being conservative means conserving traditional values. It means conserving what is already there. Fighting against the published narrative is what the left do. You live in a very conservative society. You're not fighting against that. You are fighting to stay the same. That is what being conservative is. It's literally in the name. You want to keep things the same way. You want to hold on to old beliefs, even if that is harming so many people. Because why? Because why? If you want to live your life based on old values, fine. Do what you want in your household. I do not care. Just don't try to force that on other people. That's literally all we're saying, is we just want everyone to have equal opportunities and equal rights. We want to remove discrimination, and we think that everyone deserves like food, water, and shelter and healthcare. And you're here like, no, we don't want that. Why not? Why not? Why not? No one's trying to take anything away from you. We just want to close the gap. Why is it that conservatives want to keep their place at the highest spot? They want to stay at the head of the table just to say, I'm better than you. You're not better than me. You're not better than anyone. We're all people. Just let us be people. Let us live. Why do you want to conserve a fucked up power dynamic? Just let us exist equally and peacefully. That's literally all we want. That's literally it. I don't know why people are against that. It doesn't make sense to me.
It is entirely clear that conservatives are not mainstream because conservatives can be canceled at the drop of a hat. You say the wrong thing, you're canceled.
A lot of the time when conservatives are cancelled, it's because they've said stuff that is offensive. It's because they've actively hurt people. Now, I don't agree with cancel culture. I believe that there is a lot of toxic stuff that happens, and I believe a lot of people get wrongfully cancelled or sent a lot of hate for reasons that are unnecessary. And I do think that this is a problem, but that is a completely different thing that I can talk about at another time. But to say that it's only conservatives who are cancelled is just not true. Literally anyone can be cancelled for absolutely anything. Charli D'Amelio lost 1 million followers on TikTok because she didn't want to eat a snail. Don't act like it's only conservatives that get cancelled. Yeah? Most of the time when conservatives get cancelled, they have done or said something that is actively harmful, but they're also not the only ones that get cancelled. That's just not true. I don't know where you got that idea from. I don't know why you're pushing that narrative. It is false. Do your research. As you said a little bit later on in the video, know your stuff. Know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about. You clearly are just picking and choosing. You are cherry picking what information you want to share with people. And you sound like you know what you're talking about. You are talking in a very convincing way. These people aren't going to go check because you sound like you know what you're talking about and they want to believe you. They aren't going to check. And that's just a lie. You're just saying lies.
The narrative will tell you that conservatives are limiting free speech. They fear President Trump because he has called out the media time and time again for their fake news and their leftist skew. But who is the one limiting free speech? The left.
No one is trying to take away free speech. You can say what you want, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come with consequences. You can say slurs, but I'm not going to be happy about it. I can't stop you from saying that. You can say it, technically. But you can get in trouble for saying it. Your words have consequences, just like your actions have consequences. If you are harming people with your words, or you're saying something discriminatory or offensive or harmful in any way, people are allowed to get upset and tell you why that isn't okay and why they are unhappy with you. That's their freedom of speech. Yeah? Why are you allowed freedom of speech, but I'm not allowed the freedom of speech to tell you that, hey, what you just said is really fucked up? Everyone can say what they want as long as you're okay with people getting upset with you and you're okay with handling the consequences of your words and of your actions.
Being liberal comes with lots of bells and whistles. You get to say that you're part of a revolution. You get to scream and cry, and people will take that as an argument because you're fighting injustice.
No. What are you talking about? Have you seen conservatives? Have you seen yourselves? Conservatives stormed the Capitol. That's not screaming and crying. I just don't understand. Liberals, leftists, whatever, constantly attacked for just saying, hey, pay people enough to be able to live. And it's the conservatives who are like, no, then my burger will cost 15 cents more and I don't want to pay 15 cents more. You just shouldn't be able to eat. You shouldn't be allowed to eat. My person making my burger shouldn't be able to afford the burger. I don't think so. That's not fair. Why would I eat burger if person making burger can also eat burger? No, I don't think so. That's not screaming and crying. When someone says to another person, hey, I don't think you should be alive. I don't think you have the right to live. I think that they're allowed to get a bit upset by that. I think they have every right to do that. I don't know why you consider that screaming and crying, but not conservatives getting upset by us asking to be alive. We say, hey, it's kind of fucked up that people can't afford healthcare. And conservatives are like, no, I can afford healthcare, so why are you complaining? Maybe you should also try to afford it. Am I going to make it more affordable? Of course not. Why would I do that? Only I want to be able to afford it. If you can also afford it, then how can I prove that I'm better than you? We just want the same things. We just want the same thing. And you're the ones getting mad about that? We're screaming and crying because people are dying? And you're screaming and crying because you want to continue to hold things above people's heads and say that you're better than them. Why is asking for equality screaming and crying, but refusing equality totally chill? That's fine.
That's why it's hilarious when someone like Taylor Swift, who is worth more than $350 million, writes a song about how her life would have been easier and better if she were a man. Because they act like they have taken a stand in a society that will judge them for it, when all we have heard about their activism is positive responses.
This one got me a little bit. Taylor Swift has always been rewarded for her political beliefs and standing up and talking about her politics. What are you on? Have you been living under a rock for the past, 13 years? Taylor Swift has been absolutely slandered by the media her entire career. People hate her and can't even tell you why they hate her. They just do. Because the media has annihilated her and torn her apart her entire career. Taylor Swift wrote a song about how her life would have been better as a man, but it's null because she has $330 million, so therefore she can't complain. Her life would have been so much easier if she was a man. Have you seen how she was treated about her relationships versus the men she dated are treated about their relationships? Taylor Swift couldn't leave the house because she was called a slut. She was dragged through the mud constantly for having so many boyfriends when it was 6, by the way, which is a very reasonable number of partners to have. The people she dated had far more and have never been dragged through the mud for it. She was branded as this awful person. For what? One of the reasons was because she wrote a song about John Mayer, which was heartbreaking. That song is heartbreaking. She talks about how she was manipulated and used. She was 19 and he was 31. And everyone sided with him. She was dragged through the mud for saying that a 31-year-old hurt her and manipulated her when she was 19. That is a large part of where all the hate about Taylor Swift stemmed from in the media, and no one questioned it. No one. I have people in my life who hate Taylor Swift, and when you ask why, they're just like, I don't know, she's just annoying. Because of how the media portrayed her. Because she is a woman. Look at what happened with Kanye, right? He got up on stage and said she didn't deserve an award when she was like 17, 18. Over time, she talked about it a few times. She wrote a couple songs about it. Kanye has ripped into her about it. And she's the one who gets shit for it. Why? She has been ridiculed to the point where she got an eating disorder, where she was afraid to be herself and to just exist. Because she is a woman. That never happened to any of the men in her life, despite their actions being so much worse. If you watch her documentary, you see her crying because she wants to talk about politics, but she isn't allowed to. She is being told she is not allowed to because it will ruin her career. She didn't talk about anything political up until last year, and she got backlash for that. People didn't instantly take her side. The media fucking hates her. People hate her. And that wouldn't have happened if she was a man. That song? True. Everything in it. True. She is 100% right, and you have been living under a rock. That one pissed me off. That one annoyed me so much because there is absolutely so much evidence in there as to the situation and how it would have been easier for her if she was a man, and how that is for so many artists.
Plenty of studies have actually shown that conservatives are happier than liberals. One study published in 2012 showed that conservatives are happier on average than liberals, and another study published in 2018 found that conservatives find life more meaningful than liberals.
You're right. You would be happier as a conservative. Do you know how often I think about this? How often I'm like, life would be easier if I just didn't care about other people or any issues. If you come from a place of privilege and you choose to ignore all issues that don't directly affect you, of course life is going to be easier. Of course you're going to be happier. You can do what you want without consequences because you don't think about how it's going to hurt other people. Being selfish is ultimately going to make you happier, but I don't want to hurt other people because I care about other people and because I have empathy. I don't want to buy products that come from a sweatshop because that is hurting people. I don't want to be overly consumeristic because that is hurting the environment. I try to make ethical decisions and do things that are not that are hurting as few people as possible. And a lot of conservatives don't do that because they don't care, because it doesn't affect them. So of course you are going to be happier. The saying ignorance is bliss exists for a reason. It's true. If you ignore issues, life is easier. You are going to be happier. I can't fight you on that. You will be happier, but you will be causing people pain. And I don't think that's worth it.
The left finds their meaning in victimhood, in their never-ending crusade against the oppression they constantly need to root out.
Oppression. No, Abby, I think you mean oppression. As in, everyone deserves food, everyone deserves water and shelter and healthcare, everyone deserves equal opportunity, everyone deserves to hold hands with the person that they love without fear, everyone deserves to walk down the street without fear and exist as themselves without fear and without active discrimination. We all deserve the same rights and opportunities. And we don't have that. And that is blatantly obvious. And you choosing to ignore that doesn't mean it isn't real. You are a Jewish woman. You should be aware of the huge level of antisemitism that happens in the US. And by you sitting here and saying that liberals are fighting oppression while your people are being hurt and killed just for existing within their religion is so gross. Ignoring everyone's issues is obviously awful, but the fact that you can completely ignore that, a part of yourself and your culture, there's just something about that that's just really awful and really sad, particularly given the past. I don't know how you can sit here and you can say all of these things and you can say that liberals base their life on fake oppression when it is so blatantly obvious and you are just choosing to turn a blind eye to it even though it affects you. Just look at statistics. Just do a little bit of research. Just look into it a little bit. That is the end of her video, so I'm going to leave it here. I got very angry about that. I have been here for a very long time. Let me know if there's any more of her videos that you want me to watch. This is the first time I've gone over a video before. I don't know how you feel about this format. If you really like this format, let me know. Let me know if there's any more people you want me to look at. If there's any more of her videos in particular you want me to talk about, because she has a lot of videos, she says a lot of things. A massive thank you to all my Kiwi Fruit and Kiwi Bird channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge thank you to my channel member of the day, Bookworm. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a member, you can click the little blue join button or the top link in the description. You get my videos a day early as well as 10% off my shop, thequeerkiwi.com/shop. And I just added a new tier, the Kiwi Birds, where you get some exclusive content that doesn't make it into the videos due to monetary or time reasons. So if you would like to support me and get any of those things, I would greatly appreciate that and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for coming along. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm nearly at 250k, which is absolutely wild. My channel literally just turned 9 months old, so it's mind-blowing. Thank you so much for helping me get to this point. I genuinely still can't believe it, and I am forever grateful to every single one of you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. And when you close your eyes, you replay